Hi, it's Thursday, February 26, 2015, day 39 of the 90-day legislative session in Juneau, Alaska. I'm Jeremy Hsieh, the producer of Gavel, Alaska, for 360 North. So the House Operating Budget Subcommittees are finishing up their work, closing out their departmental budgets. It's coming together. The overall operating budget is coming together on the House side. I haven't been following the process very closely. I don't have the time to, and it's very complicated. But there's a lot of good reporting being done out there from the traditional news media that if you want to check on what the different cuts mean, it's out there. There's big picture. There's lots of cuts across the board to deal with the huge budget shortfall Alaska's dealing with because of falling oil prices. Next week, the House Finance Committee plans to get all the subcommittee budgets together and take public testimony on the whole operating budget. If you want to participate, I put together a How to Testify explainer in the 2015 Gavel Alaska Guide. That's available online on 360north.org. You should check that out. The House Finance Committee has 3 days planned next week specifically for hearing public comment on the operating budget. The committee wants to limit people to 2 minutes each, and they've organized blocks of time by community. On Tuesday, March 3rd, they plan to hear Juneau from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. From 3:30 to 5:30 p.m., they plan to hear from Homer, Kenai, Ketchikan, Kodiak, Mat-Su, and Seward. On Wednesday, March 4th, the committee is slated for public testimony on the operating budget from Barrow, Dillingham, and Fairbanks. That's from 1 to 4 p.m. And then from 4 to 5:30 p.m., Bethel, Cordova, Kotzebue, Nome, Valdez, and Wrangell. And what they call the off-nets. That's people who aren't going to a legislative information office and are just calling into one and then being teleconferenced in. On Thursday, March 5th, public testimony continues in House Finance Committee on the operating budget. 1 to 4:30 p.m. on Thursday is slated for Anchorage, and 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. is for Sitka, Petersburg, Delta Junction, Unalaska, Glenallen, and Tok. That's Thursday. So that's going to be a big chunk of our coverage on Gavel, Alaska next week. Public testimony, just, hearing from you what you guys think about the budget. Hashing out more of the details of legalized marijuana and its commercialization is still a big outstanding issue the legislature has to deal with. The Senate version of the bill addressing that is SB 30. It's in the Senate Finance Committee next week slated for several hearings also. That's the last committee of referral for that bill before going to the Senate floor for a vote, and then the process starts over on the House side, assuming it passes. There's also a House version of the bill. It seems to have stalled out. I'm not sure what happened with that, or if they're just deferring to the Senate. Since the marijuana legalization initiative took effect on February 24th, earlier this week, not much has changed, practically speaking, in Alaska, legally speaking in Alaska. Private consumption of marijuana remains legal, okay? One thing that did change was that possession of marijuana in small amounts outside of the home, that's now legal. That wasn't the case before. As Senator Machicki said, the pot ferry had to drop it off your house for it to get there. Now you can move around with it, presumably legally. It's still illegal to buy and sell marijuana, however. So that's some of the big policy things going on in the legislature. In technical difficulties world, we finally sorted out a bunch of our recurring technical problems that were making a lot of the legislature's webcam videos in our archives give people stream not found errors. Sorry about that. Those videos have been archiving properly this week after a lot of troubleshooting and help from the Legislative Affairs Agency's Media Services Office, which they're the guys that actually control those cameras, and Inventus Media, and that's our who we contract with at 360 North with public television. We contract with Inventus Media for a lot of our streaming back-end systems. So thanks to you guys bringing that back up and running. We're backfilling a lot of the meetings that went missing up to that point in the session this year. Last Friday, a power outage in Juneau zapped some of our infrastructure and our connections with the Capitol, affecting all of our live feeds from the Capitol. I read let's say, interesting conspiracy theory about how big marijuana was somehow responsible for our technical difficulties in order to keep the people of Alaska in the dark about their marijuana agenda in the Capitol. It's an entertaining theory. I'm pretty confident last week's problems was because of the power outage. So Anyway, now that we resolved a bunch of those technical issues, and hopefully I have more time to do more of these videos and tweet and whatnot. If you've got questions or comments, requests, let me know. Here's my contact information. Thanks for watching.